Guys, today I wanted to dive into commitment. What does commitment mean to you, and what is your relationship with commitment? So, the reason why I bring this up is because I feel like when we talk about commitment and we talk about being dedicated, a lot of our perception of what commitment is always around being very focused and being always in the gym and doing extra hours and doing more work towards the things that we want. But there's also another part of commitment that we might not dive into or maybe have the perspective that we need. And that's overly committing. Is overly committing something that's happened to you or something that you are going through right now? And that's what I want to dive into today. So, by definition, commitment is an agreement to do something in the future. And when you think about it that way, you think about it like, okay, this is something that I'm gonna accomplish. But there's no really a timeline to commitment, right? Unless you're agreeing to finish this by a certain date, and which is different situation. But being committed and being dedicated, they're interrelated, right? But sometimes our relationship with what we want to be dedicated with can be hindered because of our understanding of what commitment is. And this is something I deal with and I work with a lot of clients and athletes about, because sometimes we can be too hard on ourselves. I hear that sometimes, like, oh man, like, I don't I don't think that I can do this at the level that I want to do it every single time. And to be honest, you don't need to do it at that level every single time. The most important things is that you show up, that you're being consistent. Being committed is about being consistent. So let's break that down, right? Let's go in a week's worth of training, a week worth of doing something. Just because you're not showing up every day doesn't mean that you're any less value. It just means that you need to figure out the flow of your schedule. Your schedule might be constantly changing. People's life always are surrounded by whatever they're doing. So you have to take that to consideration, is knowing what your schedule is and how can you flow in the things that you want to do into your schedule. Now, this might seem very self-explanatory, but I think this is the problem that people run into, is that, oh, I'm going to do this in the morning, and you never think about what things you need to do to prepare to do it in the morning. That means going to sleep early, probably taking your vitamins, having a healthy meal to prepare yourself to that, and then making sure you don't skip your alarms, right? There's a quote that said that skipping alarms is similar to, who you want to be is trying to wake up. It's reminding you of what you need to do. But the person that snoozes is the person you choose to be. So you have to think about that. When you want to snooze and you want to go back into, resting and feeling comfort, which is nothing wrong with doing. But when you have a goal and you're committed to making that goal happen, you have to commit to the person you want to be. And that's the difference. Is that being consistent is committing to the person you want to be, opposed to just committing to the person you already are. And that's what drives us to be uncomfortable with situations, to grow and become something out of the norm. So I want to talk about being overcommitted. What does overcommitted mean? A lot of times I have people that contact me, hey man, I'm going to train 3, 4, 5 times a week. I tell them, oh, okay, are you training 3 or 4 or 5 times a week right now? And they're like, no, I'm not. I actually haven't done that in 3, 4 months. Well, okay, let's take it back a notch. Are you planning on training this consistently for how long? And they tell me about their goals and what things they want to work with. But even professional players don't train every single day that way, not at the same intensity. So you have to think about what you're implementing. Weight training and performance training has its time and place. but it doesn't mean that you have to go hard every time. It just means that you need to work around the schedule to understand the intensities that you're going to do. So you might want to do something that's not going to be so taxing on you mentally, physically, and going to beat you up. Now, throughout the week, you'll be able to find a flow to feel better. So let me explain. If you're not used to weight training, you're going to beat your body up just because weight training might be a little bit foreign to you. And because of that, you need a little bit more time to recover. That means that the next day, it might not be smart to go back into the weight room unless you're going to make some accommodations. The training is going to be really specific to you, or something that's going to be tailored a lot less so you can manage your way into being into the training session. But these are things you want to definitely spark interest in, especially when you're trying to be as committed as possible. Overly commitment means that sometimes you have an idea of what your goal is, right? And you want to make a 3-month goal a 1 week goal. And that's not really foreseeable because you don't have the time frame to build up. And what you want to do is have that 3-month goal, be able to knock it down week by week, and eventually get there without having to struggle with the mind frame of being able to accomplish so fast. It's better to get there slower and be able to feel fulfilled in the sense of like, okay, I gave myself a reasonable goal to achieve and then go there. And this is just on the topic of goal setting, and being consistent and committed to training. We're not talking about being consistent, committed to other things. But I just feel that training needs a specific portion of understanding that talks about this kind of stuff. Being committed can sometimes make you feel like you're restricted and you don't have time for other things. And it depends on what your priorities are, right? Because, you have social gatherings, you have things like that you might feel a little bit restricted with how you go about certain things. But if you are disciplined and this is what you want to make a lifestyle, then you will do the changes. It doesn't mean that you have to completely change everything out of your life. It just means that you're going to gradually start implementing the things that are going to make you get there. And part of that is feeling better. So I wanted to bring this up because I feel like a lot of people are hard on themselves and don't allow themselves to have the time frame to grow into their shoes and grow into their body, grow into their mind, spirit. And I feel conversations like this are really going to spark interest on other topics and other things that we can definitely discuss. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Guys, continue to show love, share videos, and I'll keep you guys posted with other content.